For the past 4 months since I've been out of college, it has been honestly kind of interesting. In this video, I want to do two things. I want to share with you, one, my story the past 4 months, graduating college, and I also want to share with you some of the things that I wish I learned while I was still in college before I graduated college. These things I think would have been super helpful to have developed a skill set so that I could have done better transitioning into the workforce and navigating life after college. Leading up to graduating college, everything just happened so fast. I got married in April, graduated, and then started a full-time job a month after graduating. I think the biggest takeaway that I've learned so far is I almost feel like I am wandering in a wilderness and not sure exactly what my next steps are. Because for the past, 18 years of my life, it's always been about school. I started preschool, then kindergarten, then 1st through 12th grade, then the 4 years of college. And now it's like, wait, I'm no longer in school. So what do I do? Or what do I do going forward? Because yeah, I'm in the workforce now, but there's no guaranteed next steps now that I'm in the workforce. It's almost like a mini identity crisis, even though at my core identity I know isn't changed and won't change because of my situational change. There's moments where I'm driving in my car and I'm just like, not necessarily grieving, but like I just get sad because I'm just like, man, it's over. It's over and now it's here. The moment that all of my childhood has been preparing me for. So let me tell you some of the things that I regret not learning while I was in college. I wish I had learned to be more confident in my ideas. I think what prevented that, well, actually, let me preface. Being in the workforce has really challenged me to think differently and has pressure pointed, if that's the right word, like put strain on areas of my life that I didn't really work while in college. Because in the workforce especially, like I'm the only one doing the specific thing that I'm doing. I need to be able to vocalize that to my team members, to leadership, and take ownership of the project I'm working on. In college, a lot of the assignments, a lot of the presentations that were assigned they were assigned. You had the topic assigned, you had your partners assigned, and there was really no choice. The professor knew exactly, ultimately, what the project was going to look like. And so if you messed it up, they could easily say, yeah, you missed the mark on this one. I think another thing along the lines of just being more confident in my ideas is that oftentimes the ideas I have and responsibilities I have in my current role, I need to be able to share with people who are older than me, people who have been in the workforce or been at the company for a while. In college, hey, you were surrounded by other college students who may not really have cared about your presentation. And so it was like, oh, they'll just tune out, or it ultimately didn't matter going forward. But in the workplace, like it matters. Your work matters because so much is affected by the work that you do. When I was in high school especially, I struggled a lot with wanting to know it all. And when I was in marching band in high school, I was a very jealous and insecure person. So I wanted to be known for the guy that like knew all the answers. Like, you can come to me, like I'm the leader, I can do it, I can figure it all out. And so then once I got to college, really after my freshman year, I was just like, man, stop being so prideful. Stop trying to be the person who knows it all. It's time to take a humility pill. And so I think the pendulum kind of swung the whole different direction. So when I got to the workforce, I was just like, wait a second. You just spent the last 3-4 years trying to subdue your ideas because you didn't want to be perceived as prideful and somebody who knew it all. But now I'm like, no, I have to vocalize my ideas. I have to vocalize what I'm seeing in my role and my responsibilities. You can be confident without being prideful and while still staying humble. The second one is kind of a hot take, and it's that I wish I learned more about debt while I was in college, and honestly even before I got to college. Graduating and realizing I have a lot of student loans is not something that's fun. And especially getting married and combining finances, it's preventing us from doing some of the things that we really want to do. Having to pay off all of this debt in order to then be able to give generously and go on vacations that we want to go on and do some of the things we truly want to do with our money are things we wish we could do but just can't do right now. Honestly, I don't think the value of the education I got going to the University of Tampa was any more valuable than going to a state school and getting the same degree. I would have chosen a different school in order to not have student loans like I do now. This next one is that graduating from college is not the end all be all. Leading up to graduation, I was so intentional and so driven to find a job, which is great. But I had the mentality of, if I don't have a job as soon as possible after graduation, it's just not gonna work out. I feel like there's this pressure that you have to get a full-time job as soon as you graduate, rather than being like, hey, if you need to work a part-time job or a couple of part-time jobs to get your feet on the ground after college, or maybe an internship after college, like, do that. Go ahead and take that route. And I'm grateful for the job I have now, but I wish somebody was like, hey, like, just take it slow. Like, you can do this. It'll work out. Kat and I have student loan debts, and a lot of it. And so there was some urgency to get a full-time job in order that we could start paying loans as the interest has started back up. But if I didn't have as much student loans, I don't think I would have been as controlled by the debt factor. This kind of ties into what I was touching on earlier, and it's just that I wish I was more intentional about processing what life will be like after graduation. Because honestly, post-grad depression is a real thing. And I don't think it hit me as hard as it hits other people, because I had just recently gotten married in April, and so all of that and experiencing all of that was still so fresh, and it's still so fresh, and it's been fun to navigate that. The level of freedom that still being in school provides is felt for me now that I'm not in school anymore. If you're getting any value out of this video, I'd really appreciate hitting that thumbs up button so that I know this kind of video is really helpful and beneficial for you. Man, friendships. This is something that I love talking about because friendships matter, and who you surround yourself with matters so much. So I think the bigger lesson that I wish I had fully learned, friendships have seasons. Not every friendship, for example, that you make at the beginning of college will last you throughout college and beyond. And even with those core friends that you make while in college, there'll be seasons with those, even if they last. There'll be seasons where you're super close. There will also be times where you're distant. I put a lot of weight on trying to maintain a big group of friends, but the reality is people mature at different rates, and some people just may not ever mature. Why would you want to stay in a situation where you're trying to get better, but the people around you aren't trying to get better? We're always changing. And the things that brought me close to somebody before may not be there anymore. Man, that's kind of a bar. What brought you together before may not be there anymore. And it may be good and it may be bad. I know, for example, like if there was a friendship I had where we just bonded because of some negative thing, like let's just take gossip, for example. If I felt convicted to not gossip anymore and I just wanted to change that, but the other person still wanted to gossip, why would that still keep us together and keep us close friends? Like it just wouldn't make sense to do that. And that's a natural development of that friendship. I'm at a season where I'm just not in a big group of friends. I have a few close, really close friends, and that's okay. And some people may say that's even better, because having just a few close friends who I know can speak into my life, call me out, can hold me to the standard that I want to live by is so beneficial, rather than necessarily having just a big group of friends that only know you at a certain level. But hey, you may also have a big group of friends that all know you at such a deeper level, and that's great. College was such a great time, and if you're in college, make the most of it, enjoy it. And if you're newly out of college like me, man, there's some things that I wish I could redo if I was able to go back in time and do college again. So if you are in college and want to know some of the things to look out for while you're navigating this time, or if you're like me and want to talk about some of the things that we do differently, then join me over on this video on the screen and let's talk about it.